This time on Custom Works, we're going to look at the Meat Wagon, and we're going to look at a part of the Meat Wagon I like to call the beef hatch. Let's get to the workshop. Is a 1958 standard enzyme, and I'm not Doug Demuro, but yeah, this is the 1958 standard enzyme, and what a week we've had. So last week, the place we got the recon engine from, I called them up and said, look, this engine just doesn't work. I'm going to have to take the head off it, and as it's a recon unit, I don't want to void any warranties, so can you take it back and have a look at it. It was a very, very edgy drive over to Birmingham from my house, but it got there okay. And then 2 days later I got a phone call, and the man who'd sold me the engine said, it's all done, it's all sorted. It was a timing problem. Now really, a timing problem? All of that hassle for a timing problem? Timing's been set by 3 different mechanics, and they're all good mechanics, and they all know their pintos, and it's just like, how can it just have been a timing problem? Anyway, we went over there, we see the car is there, and the car is cold, it hasn't been started. He starts the car up, car starts, car ticks over, perfect. It's like, this is a total win. Okay then, so we're out in the enzyme, and it's been back to the people that originally reconned the engine, and wow, it seems different. The guy reckons it was just like a timing issue, and the timing has to be just right in a Pinto. We did everything though, and we never got it to run like this. God damn it, it's like a race car. I'm genuinely taken aback. Nothing to do with just for the camera or anything, genuinely taken aback how good this car goes. The man must be some sort of I don't know, like some sort of engine ninja. My God, unbelievable. So, it's like it's all fixed. So I'm like, well, thank you so much. This is amazing. We can't believe it. Drive back from Birmingham. As I'm driving back, I'm thinking, this car really works now. And I'm, doing about sort of 65 in it, and everything's fine. And then all of a sudden there was so much smoke out the back of the car. There was again some odd noises, and I pulled once again into the hard shoulder, and this time, from last time when the gearbox seals went in the gearbox, we took the gearbox out, replaced the seals, what had happened, it blew the front seal in the gearbox, it actually blew it out of its housing, and I lost all the transmission fluid again down the motorway. So again, we towed it back, we got it on the ramp, we dropped the gearbox out again, and this time, putting the seal in, which was tight last time, we cleaned everything up with thinners, we put some Loctite, stud lock round it, and we put it back in. I've taken it out for a bit of a test drive last night, and that seems to have held. So it does seem at the moment, everything is well with the enzymes. A few bits inside that rattle and vibrate, that's got to be sorted. There's a few little ends and it needs a good wash. But other than that, for this week, the enzyme's pretty good. I've got to drive it quite a bit, and it's still just tapping the top of the engine, but I'm reassured that after 1,000 miles, set the valve clearances, and then that will go. So, sort of a win really with the enzyme. Yeah, I'm going to call it that. Great days. The A40. Now, I'd like to tell you about the A40 this week. Only that it passed its MOT. Those catalytic converters underneath, totally sorted out the emissions, a little bit of a fiddle with the carb, just take the mixture down a little bit, it was a bit rich. But everything else passed. Everything works. You flick the switch, the thing works. You wiggle the wire, it don't flicker on and off. It's soldered and heat shrinked on every single joint. So yeah, this has gone really well. Next week we'll be finding out what is going to happen to this car, what kind of look it's going to get, how it's going to be finished off. That's all next week though. So this Total win this week. Okay then, so what we're going to do today, I'm going to make, or start making, this hatch. Not just be a drawing on the side of the van, but an actual working hatch. So first thing we've got to think about, is it being waterproof? In order for this to be waterproof, we're going to need some sort of seal, such as this seal, which is a boot seal. It's quite a small sort of profile for a boot seal, but that is the sort of thing we need. So I've made this angle, which is nice and flexible because it's plastic, but it's very strong. It's made out of that downpipe stuff. It's incredibly strong and flexible. So I can get around these curves. And what I need to do is put like a loop, a continuous loop, all the way around there and all the way up to the roof where it's going to open up, and put this seal on. And then I'll make the door up to the seal. So how have I made this angle? So first off, I started out with this kind of downpipe for drains, guttering, whatever, and I've ripped it down in the table saw, and I've took it in half there, and then I'm thinking about sort of 12 to 15 mil in this axis for the seal to actually fit up to. So yeah, this stuff is all ripped down and ready. I've cut a few lengths, if you can see on the floor down there, and now I'm going to try and fit them on. And I'm going to try and fit them on by on all the curves, just pie cutting and curving and getting it round. So never done this before, never really done any of this before really, to tell you the truth. There we go. Let's try and get some of this onto there to form a nice watertight seal. Okay then, so I've riveted this on and I have hammered on this seal. Now, the problem that I'm going to have here is that the seal, because I've sort of pie cut underneath here, I fear water would still get through there, and I don't want any water past this point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run round here with PU sealant, and that will stop any water getting under the angle that I've just put on. So then into the roof part, yeah, this goes quite a way into the roof, and the reason it does that is I don't want this part, which is almost at head height, it's like forehead height on the inside of the truck. So what I want is for that to be out the way, and for there to be, you know, that just the fullest opening there can be to serve that delicious meat with cheese through. And yeah, so I think some sealant around here, and then we're good to go to the next stage. And that is well sealed what I've got in effect now is a barrier. The water will run all the way down here and onto the floor or wherever. The hatch will compress onto here to seal it, and then it will come over to this part, you know, for that nice sort of vehicle-like fit. And I have masked over that's the rubber, and then that bit there that was riveted down, flanges it, I'm going to say flange, is there. And then what I'm going to do, just like this, I'm going to cover it all in fiberglass. And then when this is dry, this will touch the rubber seal, and it will all seal watertight, and hopefully, you know, to some extent, wind tight. Okay then, so we've got all this fiberglass on here, all the masking tapes. This can all be popped off, and this is going to make the door. And if you remember back, you know, it's got the seal under it and all of this. But I need it to be super rigid. Now, you know, some people will be like, oh, you need to get some steel in there or something. No. Last thing you want is steel, wood, anything like that. What you need is pool noodles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this in half and put a cross across here, and then I'm going to fiberglass that in. You might think, well, how's a pool noodle going to make it any stronger? And the thing is, just the shape of this with the fiberglass over it, that will make like a prismatic shape, and it will be incredibly stiff and very light. But first what we need to do is cut this in half. So let's go and do something really dodgy on the table saw. Okay then, so we're going to cut this pool noodle in half on the table saw. Never done this before, seems really dodgy. I'm sure there's a reason why you can't do this, but let's find out. Anyway, hey, I've got loads of fingers, you know. And there we go, pool noodle, cut in half. And I can lay that on, I'll stick it down with some spray glue, and then I will just go over that, and it will give real rigidity to what is going to be, you know, quite a floppy hatch at the minute. But once this is on, it should be a super sturdy, I hope. Everything's glassed down now, all these bits are. Still quite wet. What I'm going to do, leave that overnight, and then I'm going to go over this all with another coat. And tomorrow what I'm going to do at the top is put some sort of provision in for the hinges. I don't really know how I'm going to hinge it at the minute. So what I'm hoping for is between now and tomorrow, what will happen is how to make this work will all come to me in a dream. And as well, we're not thinking, oh my God, you did all this, it looks so nice, and now this just looks like, oh Jesus, it's terrible. Well, you won't see any of this when it's done. This will be skinned over, and it will be all nice and smooth and in keeping with the vehicle, rather than this. Not looking too good at the minute, I've got to say. Right, and so, it's the next day. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off, and just see what it's like, because I did think during the night that maybe some of these bits were a bit pinched on the seal, so I'm going to get it off, see how it fits, then probably just put it back on and continue work, or if it's really rigid enough, I might work with it on the table for a bit because up there is quite difficult to get to. Okay then, so the hatch is off. I'm going to get all this tape off it. Now I'm going to do some test fits up and just make sure that it is actually the right shape and it does fit easily over there, because that did not come off easy. That was really, really difficult. I thought it was on there forever at one point. Yeah, I'll clean it all off, then we'll have a test fit. It wouldn't fit because of the swing of the door. So what I've done, I've put a large piece of angle iron, and I have fiberglass that in at the top, and we've attached some hinges to that. Also, I've made this section here, which hasn't got any ribbon in it, so that was like a flex point in this. So what I've done is I've reinforced that. I had to cut this bottom section off, remount that, and then make this bit in that's on a corner, because what was happening is, as it was opening, it was like trapping itself. But now, after all of that, the beef flap works. So the beef hatch. The beef hatch totally works, and it just needs a bit more work. Around here it doesn't quite fit to the body. I'm going to check, see if anything's holding that off. But sometimes fiberglass does move a little bit, so this side just fits like a dream. It's just so good. So that's it up to now. It's still got some flex in it, but hopefully the second skin that's going to go on this will make it a bit better. But there it is, the beef hatch. And thank God it's not a curtain. Okay, that's it for this week. Join me next time when we're looking at the smaller beef hatch. And also, we'll be seeing if the standard enzyme has stood the test of time and done a few miles. And we'll also be seeing how the A4 is going. So, between now and then, time will pass by. The abstract concept of hours passing, and then another week will happen. And until then, don't forget, click subscribe, press the bell icon, do the subscribe thing, leave comments down below and give us a big thumbs up. Thank you very much and good night!